Hello students, welcome to Accounting 1329, Payroll and Business Tax Accounting. This is Dr. Mercado speaking. I hope all of you are having a fabulous week and are getting ready to work on your assignments, okay? Now, during this week, we are going to continue covering Chapter 4, which deals with income tax withholding, okay? Now, the problem that I'm going to cover is problem 412. And it's a very long problem, okay? It has a lot of forms. So I couldn't figure out the best way to do it. I was going to try to copy them into Excel, and it was just taking me too long. So this week, I'm going to try recording on the actual Cengage platform. So I'm going to be completing the problem like if I was a student, okay? So I'm going to be transitioning over to my Cengage, and this is what the problem looks like. So you're going to have something similar to this. But as you can see, it's long. It has a 941. It has additional income tax forms. So for me, it was just very difficult to tackle this problem on Excel because of the different forms that needed to be completed. Okay. So we're gonna give it a try here. Okay. So this problem is super important. Okay, because you're gonna be seeing it on your test. So that is why I'm taking the time to cover it with you. Okay. It covers a lot of different forms, tax information, the 941. So it's a wonderful problem that basically puts everything together of what is going to be completed in a quarter, okay, for a particular business for payroll purposes, okay? So it says, during the fourth quarter, there were 7 bi-weekly paydays on Friday. This is October the 4th, the 18th, November the 1st, 15 and 29, December the 13th and 27 for quality repairs. Using the forms supplied below, we have to complete the following forms for the fourth quarter. Okay? If an amount or input box does not require an entry, leave it blank or enter a 0. I prefer to leave it blank, but it's up to you. Okay? So it says, we have the quarterly payroll data. We have 5 employees. They made $18,750. We've got their OASDI, which is $1,162.50, the HI 271.88, federal income tax of $18.75, and state income tax of $13.12.50. Then we have the employer's OASDI of $1162.50, the employer's HI of $271.88, and the federal deposit liability of each pay period of $677.68. Okay. So we are responsible to submit payment of every pay period of $677.68. Okay, so everything is done for us here. We don't have to do much calculations. All of the information that we need has been provided. Okay, this is just a disclosure about the different information. When they printed this textbook, the 2021 information was not yet available. So they're still using the 2020 federal income tax tables. That's just for informational purposes. Okay, so requirement A. They're asking us to complete the federal deposit information worksheets reflecting electronic deposits. And this is a monthly depositor, okay? It says here that the federal deposit liability each pay period based on the earnings of the 5 employees is $677.68, okay? So we have to complete the federal deposit information worksheet for October, November, and December. How much are we responsible to deposit each of those months for tax liabilities? Okay, so the forms are already pre-filled for you. They've got the identification number, the name of the company, the month tax year ends, which 12 months. Now we have to figure out the amount of the deposit. Okay. So now, the problem says that the federal deposit liability each pay period is $677.68. Okay, I'm going to get my calculator out. Okay, so we've got the liability $677.68. I'm going to multiply that by the number of pay periods in October. I'm going to be doing October first. There was 2 pay periods in October, so I'm going to multiply that by 2. That gives me $1355.36. Okay, that's going to be the amount of my deposit, $1355.36. Okay, the tax form is 941. That is your employer's quarterly federal tax return. Okay, and the tax period is the fourth quarter. It says right here, we're doing the fourth quarter. Now, don't assume that it will always be the fourth quarter. make sure that you read the problem, because some of your problems are going to be the second quarter, the third quarter. So just make sure that you read the information presented in the problem. Okay. Now, they're asking you here. Okay, so that's basically all we have to fill in. The amount of the deposit, the type of tax form, and the tax period. Everything has been filled out for us. Okay. Now they're asking us to be deposited on or before, and then they give us three options. When do we have to make this deposit? Okay. When? Well, I went back to my ebook. Okay, and if we go to chapter 3, 35A, we have a section that talks about deposit requirements, and then we've got figure 37. Now, the problem stated that this is a monthly depositor, okay? So we're going to look under the monthly depositor category down here, and it says you're a monthly depositor if you reported $50,000 or less within the look back period, okay? If you are classified as a monthly depositor, you are required to make your deposits by the 15th of the following month, okay? The 15th of the following month. If not a banking day, next banking day. So if the 15th falls on a Saturday or on a Sunday, then you do the next available business day, okay? So this is what we're going to go by the 15th of the following month, okay? So we're dealing with October, okay? So then that means that we have to make this deposit by November the 15th, okay? The 15th of the following month, okay? Now we're going to do the Federal Deposit Information Worksheet for November, okay? So the amount of my deposit for November. So I know that my Federal Deposit Liability each pay period is $677.68. I'm going to multiply by the number of pay periods in November. November has 3 pay periods, the 1st, the 15th, and the 29th. So I'm going to multiply by 3, and that gives me $2,033.04, okay? So that's going to go in your amount of deposit, okay? The type of tax form, that will be the 941, and the tax period, once again, is the 4th quarter. Now, this is for November, so that means that we have to make the deposit on or before December 15th, okay? The following month, okay? Now we have the Federal Deposit Information Worksheet for December, okay? We have to calculate the amount of the deposit, okay? So let's get the calculator out. We've got $677.68, which is the amount of my liability each pay period, and I am going to multiply it by the number of pay periods in December. And in December, we have 2 pay periods. We have the 13th and the 27th. So I'm going to multiply it. That gives me $1355.36. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to enter that, $1355.36. This is form 941, and this is for the 4th quarter. Now, when am I going to make this deposit? Well, this is for December, so that means I have to make my deposit in January of next year, January the 15th. So these are my Federal Deposit Information Worksheets, okay? Now we have to complete the Employer's Quarterly Federal Tax Return, Form 941, okay? So this is more of a long process, but by now we should be familiar because we've already completed a 941 before, okay? So this is already pre-filled out for you, the name of the company, the EIN number, all of that good stuff. Okay, the only thing that we have to fill out here in the top section is the quarter. And we are doing it for the 4th quarter, which is October, November, and December. Okay. Now we're going to start filling out the form. The first question asks, how many employees do we have? According to the problem, it says that we have 5 employees. Okay. So we've got 5 employees. Okay. Number 2, wages, tips, and other compensation. In this particular problem, we didn't have any tips, but we did have wages. According to the problem, we had wages of $18,750. That is provided to you right there on the problem. $18,750. So that's going to go on line number 2. Okay. Line number 3 is asking you, what is the federal income tax withheld from your wages, tips, and other compensation? Well, if we look back at the data, federal income tax withheld was $1,875. Okay. So far, all we're doing is grabbing the data from top from the problem and then copying it into the respective boxes. Nothing very complicated. Okay. We move down to line 5A. Okay. It says taxable Social Security wages. What were my wages? Your wages were $18,750. Okay. Let me get my calculator out. I'm going to get my $18,750 and I'm going to multiply by 0.124. That gives me $2,325. Okay, I'm going to enter that right there. Qualified sick leave, we didn't have any. We didn't have any of the qualified family leave wages. We didn't have any tips, so we can exclude that. Now we go to line number 5C. What are my taxable Social Security wages and tips? For Social Security purposes, we had wages of $18,750. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get the $18,750 and I'm going to multiply that by 0.029 and that gives me $543.75. Okay. Taxable wages and tips subject to additional Medicare tax withholding. We didn't have anything that had additional Medicare tax withholding, so we can skip that. Now line 5E says at column 2 from lines 5A, you're going to add all of these column 2s right here and you're going to put the total right there. Well, we only had 2 line items in column 2, so we're going to add those 2. 2325 plus 543.75. That gives me 2868.75. 2868.75. So how do we get that number, class? We added these numbers in column 2, okay? Line 5A does not apply. We didn't have any unreported tips. Line 6, we're going to add lines, and it tells you, the line items tell you what to do. It says you're going to add lines number 3. So line number 3 is 1875. You're going to add line number 5E, which is 2868.75. And you're going to add line 5F, which is 0. That gives me 4743.75. 4743.75. Okay. Okay, now here is the tricky part. Current quarter's adjustments for fractions of cents. There is some adjustment. This is the calculation that we did in the form. We have to compare this with our deposits. How much did we deposit? Okay. Well, if we refer back to our deposits, we have our deposits for October, November, and December. What do we get? Well, I know that I deposited $1355.36 on October, $2033.04 on November, and $1355.36 on December. I deposited $4743.76. Okay. The total in my form, I'm going to subtract $4743.75. So I have an adjustment of 1 cent. Okay. That 1 cent is going to be added in line number 7. Okay. Line number 8, adjustments for sick pay. We didn't have anything. Number 9, adjustments for tips and group term life insurance. Does not apply. Line number 10, it says combine lines 6 through 9. Okay, so we're going to combine lines 6 through 9, and we only have information on 2 lines. We're going to add those 2. That gives me 4743.76. So that goes on line number 10. Line number 11, qualified small business payroll tax credit does not apply. Non-refundable portion of credit for qualified sick leave does not apply. And non-refundable portion of employer retention, none of these apply to what we're doing right now. Okay, that is part 1. Okay, we're going to continue with part 1. Okay, 11D, total non-refundable credits. We don't have any of those items. Now, line 12. These are your total taxes after adjustments and non-refundable credits. So they're asking you, subtract line 11D, which is 0, from line 10, which is 4743.76. So we're going to get 4743.76. Line 13A, total deposits for the quarter. This includes overpayments applied from a prior quarter and overpayments applied to the different filed forms. So the amount of my total deposits was $47.43.76. Okay, that is what was actually deposited. And we've got those 3 deposit slips to prove that. Okay. Line 13B, deferred amount of employee share of Social Security. We didn't have any deferred. We didn't have any refundable portions. None of that did we have. So we're going to jump all the way down to 13E. Okay. It says total deposits, deferrals, and refundable credits. So it's asking us to add line 13A, which is 47.43.76 plus, okay, 13B is 0, 13C is 0, 13D is 0. So the total is 47.43.76. So that is line number 13E. Okay, 47.43. Oh, sorry about that. 47, oh, my number lock key. 47.43.76. There we go. Okay. 13F, it's asking you total advances received from filing Form 7200 for the quarter. That does not apply. 13G, total deposits, deferrals, and refundable credits less any advances. The total deposits made were 47.43.76. And that is it. Balance due, we don't have a balance due. We deposited 47.43.76, so we don't have a balance due. Okay. Okay, so now check 1. It says here line 12 in this return is less than 1200, which does not apply. We are a monthly scheduled depositor, so we're gonna be B. We're gonna check. We are a monthly scheduled depositor. So here you select option B, okay, and we have to fill out option B. Now we already have all of these calculations down because these tie to our federal deposit information worksheet. So I've got $1355.36 for the first month. We've got $2033.04 for the second month. And then we've got $1355.36 for the third month. Went too far. Here we go. $1355.36. Now we add those 3 numbers together. $1355.36 plus $2033.04 plus $1355.36. That gives me $47.43.76. That's going to be my total, $47.43.76. Now it says that this total must equal line 12. So go back and confirm that it equals line 12. Line 12 is 47.43.76. Very good. Okay. Now part 3, tell us about your business. If a question does not apply, leave it blank. None of this applies to our business. We're not closing down. We're not seasonal. We don't have any additional sick leave, none of that nature. So part 3, we're going to skip it unless it's otherwise noted on the assignment. Part 4, may we speak with a third-party designee? And the answer is no. Okay, we don't want them talking to anybody but the person responsible for the form. Okay, and then it is signed by the president down here. Okay, so that is it for Form 941. Okay, the last form we have is the employer's report of state income tax withheld. Okay, so we've got the withholding identification number and the month or quarter ending, okay, and the name of the information for the business. So we're going to start off with the gross payroll this particular pay period. It says here that my pay for the quarter was $18,750. So I'm going to copy that over to my gross payroll, $18,750. Now they're asking us for the state income tax withheld. If we go back, my SIT, which is state income tax, is $1312.50. Okay, we're going to take that to the bottom. Okay. Adjustments from prior periods, we don't have any information for adjustments, so that's a 0. Now total adjusted tax, it's line 2 plus line 3. So that means it's 13,1250. Penalties, the problem doesn't state anything about penalties, doesn't state anything about interest. So then the total amount due and payable is 13,1250 for my state income tax. Okay? So that is how we fill out the form. Very simple. It's just a matter of reading what information you're needing to transfer from what was provided in the problem. Okay? So that is how you do it. Now let me check my work just to make sure that I didn't make any mistakes. Okay? Because I was doing this fairly quickly. Let me just do a quick review to make sure I don't have any excess. Okay, looks good. Looks good. Very good. It looks good. Okay, so that is how we do problem 412. Everything is provided up here. We just have to use this information and a little calculations to be able to complete our federal deposit information worksheet, our 941, as well as our employer's report of state income tax withheld. This is going to be on your test. I cannot emphasize it enough. Please make sure that you practice when you're doing your homework and that you understand where each of these numbers is coming from. Okay? So that is basically it for this lecture dealing with problem 412. Until next time, have a wonderful day.